Hey, what is going on, guys? It's LittleBigness here, and I am here to bring you our IPBL Season 1 draft analysis. So, before we get into the draft analysis, I'm going to explain a little bit on how the draft works. It's a tier-based draft. It's a new league I'm in. I haven't really announced it, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's my first Wi-Fi league, so that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing in it. I'll be uploading every single week, and I'm hoping I'll stay more consistent with it. I should be able to stay more consistent with it now that, summer's coming up, and it's like, I've got a lot more time. I should, no excuses here. Also, it's a bit more of a strict upload lead. It's not like the EPA where it's like, oh, uploads are optional, do them or not do them, Here's the earliest you can do them. But anyway, getting back into how the draft works, it's a tier-based draft. So it's a lot like the GBA, there's Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. So you need to draft 1 Tier 1, 1 Tier 2, 2 Tier 3s, then 1 Tier 4 and 1 Tier 5. And then after that, you have 5 free picks. And you have 500 points for those. A Tier 1, it would cost 160 points. A Tier 2 would cost 120, a Tier 3 would cost 80, Tier 4 40, Tier 5 20. So, it led to kind of some interesting stuff. You have room to draft 3 Tier 1s because we're doing no megas for this league due to it being a Wi-Fi league. We're not doing any of the release megas either, so... that led to some kind of cool stuff, and I've actually never been in a league where you don't draft a mega. I've been in leagues where it's optional to not draft a mega, but I've never been in a league where you can't draft a mega. So, it's different for me, but I found that it wasn't really that big of a deal. And also, at the end of the draft, we get to give 2 Pokemon Z Crystal access, and those will be our Z Crystal captains. Anyway, we're going to get right into this. So I had the 5th pick going into this draft, and it's a 16-man draft, snake draft, of course, and I had some things on my mind. I was thinking, like, what's some stuff I want to use? I want to use Jirachi. I want to use Kieran Black. I want to use Mew. I'd like to use Victini again. I'd like to use Tapu Bulu. I'd like to use Garchomp, Lando T. So those were some stuff, those were some, like, mons on my mind going into it. But eventually I decided to go ahead and settle with the boy. We got Mew, and I don't have nicknames for any of these Pokemon yet. I'm still trying to think of them, so you guys will probably see them, for our first team builder, first battle. I'm not sure if I'm doing team builders yet, honestly, but for our first battle, for sure, you'll see these nicknames. Also, I might tweet out asking for some nickname suggestions, so feel free to be on the lookout to that. Twitter is always in the link. It's always linked in the description below. But I think a lot of people know why I draft Mew. By the way, it is one of my Z Crystal users, and I kind of screwed up doing this layout stuff already. But that's not a big deal. This thing's awesome. I mean, you got all these stats right here, It's base 100 all around, which is nice, because it's one of the mythical legendaries. And it gets every TM in the game. It's good. Every TM you have access to. So, I have endless possibilities with Mew. But the one thing that a lot of people say with Mew is that a lot of people fall back into the defensive role with Mew. And I definitely see that a lot. And I feel like that might be something I end up doing, which is really something I don't want to do. I want to be able to have fun with Mew, do a lot of, crazy stuff. See, like, ooh, what's the hole in his team? I'm going to fill it with Mew, stuff like that. I want to learn to have fun with Mew, learn to, play around with it a lot. I could use any setup set, I could use any defensive set, I could use any offensive set, support set. Just, I want to let my imagination run free. Not run free. I can't talk today. And also, one thing I should say, in this league, Munium Z is allowed. So, in case you guys don't know what the Munium Z does, this is a big item right here. If the holder is a Mew with Psychic, it can use Genesis Supernova. And Genesis Supernova allows me to get a base 185 move. I'm going to pull it up right here. And so it's base 185, it's special, and it summons Psychic Terrain, which could be a huge thing. So technically, I had the best access to Psychic Terrain in the entire league, because Tapu Lele is banned, and Genesis Supernova, being able to get that, it could block priority, boost the Psychic type moves, and it's just so nice to have. Also, I wanted to say with the layout, it's based on the tiers, so like every mon will be in a corresponding row on the side Pokemon stuff here. But yeah, Mew is the shit. It's gonna be fun to use. I've never used Mew before. I'm looking to have a lot of fun with it. So next, I saw this on the board and I was just like, you know what, I gotta snag it, because technically after Mew, you don't really have a solid first round pick. You have something that can do anything, but you have something that you can build around, really. Mew is not something you build around. Mew is something you have to support your team. That's how I see it, personally. A lot of people could say, oh no, you build around Mew by doing this and that. But to an extent, you can build around Mew by getting a Fairy type. And this is a strong Fairy type that I was pretty shocked to see still on the board after the, almost the entire second round. And the reason why Fairy type's good is because it resists Dark and Bug. Two things that Mew is weak to, and a lot of people might be using Dark and Bug type attacks to try and take out the Mew. So I snagged Clefable, and Clefable is a mon I used, I believe, once in like a side league. I haven't had much experience with it at all. And a lot of people know this thing from dominating ladders. OU in Gen 6, UU in Gen 7 so far. This thing's ridiculous. You've got access to Magic Guard and Unaware, which is really nice, and they're both really good abilities. Magic Guard allows me to be a status absorber if I'd like to. I can't absorb Thunder Waves, but everything else is absorbable. Also, I don't get hit by rocks or spikes or anything like that. And then Unaware is really nice because Unaware allows me to not be able to take damage, or I ignore the stat changes while taking damage. So say something like a Zardex wanted to set up on me. There's no Zardex in this league, actually. So, say something like a Garchomp wanted to set up on me with Swords Dance. I would ignore the Swords Dances, and they would just be a +0 Garchomp the whole time, which is something nice. Clefable's just such a good mon. I can use Magic Guard and Unaware both to my advantage. I can be defensive. I can be specially defensive. I can set up with Calm Mind or Cosmic Power if I'd like to. I could even Belly Drum if I wanted to. It's a good rocker, so I've got 2 rockers up until this point. Mew's a defogger too, so that's one hazard remover. It's a Wish Passer if I'd like it to be a Cleric. I've got Counter. I've got a great move pool. My special move pool is outstanding. I get Bolt Beam coverage. I get Moon Blast, Flamethrower. What else do I get? Like Shadow Ball, I think. Yeah, I get Shadow Ball, Psychic Size Shock, Knockoff if I'd like to. Yeah, just such good coverage. I've got Soft Boiled, I can run screens. I've got everything there, and Discord is still open for me. Good thing I have my audio off, though. Let me close that window, though. But yeah, Clefable, it can do absolutely anything I'd want to, except for, be a strong physical attacker. I can run offensive sets, I can run defensive sets. It's a strong Fairy type, helps me against those dragons. Helps me against Dark types. I think Dark types are so threatening, so having something that you want to bring every week that's so weak to them, it's always good to just go ahead and get a Clefable on your team. I love this thing. It's so good. It could probably fit on any team if you really wanted it to. So, next, I kind of had a bit of a reach pick, I'm not going to lie. But I was actually talking with a buddy of mine, Immortal Mence, who's in this league. He's also in the UPA with me. I was actually the guy who kind of discovered Mence. But yeah, we're pretty close friends, I'd say. And I was just like, dude, there's a Pokemon here that's a huge steal. And he's like, I know what you're talking about. Because he knows I love this Pokemon. A lot of people know I love this Pokemon. And this thing's tier 5. I've got no idea why. Because this thing got buffed in Gen 7. And it was a tiering mistake. And when I drafted it, people were like, oh shit, that's a tiering mistake. We fucked up. And I wanted to make sure I got something that I think is tier 3 worthy in tier 5. Right away. I was like, I'm going to snag it. Make sure I get it early. And I think immediately after that, I've kind of got an OP team. Because I've got something that's valued, way lower than it should be. And it gives me kind of an advantage just for being forced to draft in this tier. So, we picked up Swellow. And I do have a nickname for this Pokemon. A lot of people might know this from back when I was in UPA Season 4. It's Twitter. So, the Swellow buff in this generation was this base 75 special attack right here. It was base 50 in Gen 6, and it became base 75. So now it's a really strong Boom Burster. So that's huge. And also I get Scrappy, which is really nice. So I've got a Scrappy Boom Burster that can basically annihilate anything in its path. This should be tier 3. It's a fast Boom Burster too. It's got a really good speed at base 125. Also, I'm not going to be afraid to go with physical sets because, you know, I can run like the Guts Facade sets with the Flame Orb, and Burn was actually nerfed in this generation too. It only does 1/16 of your health every single turn. So, Flame Orb sets are even better. So, that's stellar. And I ran this thing with Flame Orb Gut sets all the time in UPA Season 4 in order to make this massive playoff run at the end. It was like my, you know, clutch Pokemon. I love this thing so much. It's my favorite bird. It's so good. It can do it can do two things so well, and a lot of people don't see the Gut set as that good. I think it's outstanding. It hits so hard. And I've just got, you know, good options with this. I actually ran Boom Burst back when I had Swellow in Gen 6 for UPA Season 4, and you know, Specs Boom Burst sets, they still did a lot. So just knowing, you know, now there's the base 75 special attack, I've seen it used by I've done some building with Lucas, who has Swellow in UPA Season 6. So that's like the new generation of Swellow. So I've seen that there's very few switch-ins to this thing, and a lot of people are going to have to be like, what's my switch into a Boom Burst? I don't know. So I'm going to run this thing to great success, I guarantee it. We have so much fun with it. I'll be messing around with this thing a lot. I wouldn't be shocked. There's 12 weeks in the season. I wouldn't be shocked if I brought this for 11. Or not 11. If I was about to say we have 11 weeks, but I wouldn't be shocked if I brought it for 8 of the weeks as a tier 5. It's that good. I think Swellow is outstanding. So I'm really happy to have it. Yeah, I can't believe it's tier 5, though. I had to snag it. So, next, I saw another Pokemon that I was like, you know what? If it's there, I'll get it. Because I still don't really have a solidified team. I don't have too much of a team weakness yet. So, I was looking at things, and I was like, you know, I should probably get a ground immunity, because that's pretty important. Or not a ground immunity, an electric immunity. That's what I meant. But I also saw Suicune and Conkeldurr on the board, and they were both tier 2s that I was kind of looking at, like, you know, I've never really used either of these. These could be fun. So I considered getting them, but they were both sniped actually by Immortal Mence. My boy Mence, my piss drinker. He got me. He had a lot of similar ideas to me when it came to this draft. He was kind of mad that I got Swellow. I was kind of mad that he got Conkeldurr and Suicune and a couple of other mons that I might end up mentioning later down on the draft analysis video. But anyway, I was left with this. I was like, I get an electric immunity, I get a fire type, and a new mon to play around with. I get a Lowland Marowak. And Lowland Marowak is a good Pokemon as a tier 3. I think it's a really good wall breaker. You give it the Thick Club, and it's just really nice. It's got 2 pretty good abilities with Lightning Rod and Rock Head, so honestly, I assume I'll run Lightning Rod more, because I'll want to check electric types really well. Like, this thing can answer Tapu Koko. It could answer, you know, a lot of really good electric types out there. Not really Thundurus too well, because I think that thing gets Dark Pulse, but I think it's something like Manectric, Zebstrika, Raikou and Jolteon to an extent. It's just the Shadow Ball's a little bit scary. And then I've got Rockhead, which can also just make me this ferocious wall breaker. I'm still a ferocious wall breaker with Lightning Rod, but with Rockhead, Flare Blitz, I don't get any recoil from it. And then with the Thick Club, you know, and max attack, wow, I'm hitting hard. Then also this is another rocker, so I've got 3 rockers already, which is really good. I've got my electric immunity, got a hard hitter. I've got 2 hard hitters actually, because Swellow's a hard hitter too. This thing can set with Sword Stance. It can be Spadef. It's kind of pretty simple, but it can be defensive on both sides. Pretty bulky all around too. If I went around like a Trick Room team, I could always, you know, make this Alolan Marowak a huge threat. But it can be put into some supportive roles. It can be put into some defensive roles. I like Alolan Marowak quite a bit. I think it'll be fun to play around with. Ghost types are also incredible. I think Ghost is the best offensive type in the game. Actually, no, Dark is, but then Ghost. I just think it's outstanding. You're going to have a lot of fun. It's a good fire type. I think strong fire types are important. I snagged this right before the fire types were taken. Like, there were a lot of fire types taken right after Alolan Marowak. The thing is, like, Arcanine was the only one taken up until this point. I didn't want Arcanine, though. I wasn't actually looking at Arcanine up until this point. So, then after this, after I drafted this, it was like Entei, Darmanitan, Volcanion, Heatran. All of them were drafted. But this thing's also got a good move pool. I forgot to mention that. But, you know, I get ground coverage. You know, Fire Ghost's already good. I've got Steel, got Knockoff, Stone Edge, Thunder Punch. You know, I can burn things with Will-O-Wisp. It's nice. I like Alolan Marowak. So next, I wanted a Hazard Remover. I've got a Defogging Mew, but I wanted something a bit more on the Spadef side, because I found that, you know, I've got the Marowak and the Clefable, which could go into Spadef roles, but Fizdef is just generally easier to get later on in the draft, so I thought getting a Spadef Pokemon might be nice at this point, or something that can be a bit, you know, bulky on the Spadef side. Also, I wanted something to remove hazards, because I've got a Defog Mew, but I don't want to pressure the Mew into being the Defogger all the time. So I've got a lot in mind around building a team that doesn't make Mew pressured into any role, and I think I'm doing well at that so far. You know, and the big necessities I need at this point are defenses, I need rockers, I need hazard removers. That's really what I need. And stall breakers are nice too. But I'm not gonna lie, in this draft I do lack on stall breakers just a little bit. But Alolan Marowak can break. It can be a bit of a stall breaker, so at least I've got that. But anyway, I drafted Kamala. So this is gonna be another new experience for me. I got another Gen 7 Pokemon, and honestly, I don't know too much about Kamala. I haven't really used it too much, but I know it gets Rapid Spin. I know it gets some, you know, good moves because it's a normal type. But some things that Kamala allows me to do, it's another status absorber because it can't be statused at all. You know, Comatose is a great ability in my opinion because I absorb any status that wants to come my way. I don't have to worry about burns. I don't have to worry about, you know, poison, paralysis, any of that. I can set with Bulk Up. I can set with SD if I'd want to, too. I can Wish Pass. I've got U-Turn, so I've got some Switch Initiative. I've got U-Turn on Swellow as well, and U-Turn on Mew. But now I've got U-Turn on Kamala as well. I like to have a few U-Turn options, but then the Rapid Spin's a big part of it. It's a really solid Rapid Spinner because, you know, it's pretty bulky. It's only got one weakness, so, like, only one thing will hit it super hard. And some strong physical attackers can hit me hard, too. But, like, Assault Vest Kamala, I could run that, and against basically any special attacker, I could spin. Because it's not like they're going to land a Focus Blast anyway. But then it's just got a great move pool. You know, you look at, like, Acrobatics could be weird. Brick Break, Earthquake, Facade is useless. because I can't be status. Let's see. Of course, Return, you know, Play Rough, Shadow Claw, Rock Slide, Sucker Punch for the priority, U-Turn, Wood Hammer. Yeah, those are good moves right there. I'm not sure if it gets anything, like, you know, nifty down here. Good stockpile, it's funny. A Yawn could be fun to play with if I wanted to. I could set up Sunny Day with it, that'd be funny. Payback, yeah, I don't know, since it's slow, it could be situational. Bulldoze. Doesn't really have too many good, like, you know, doesn't really have too many good, what was I gonna say? I think it's Sing though. Ooh, that's funny. It doesn't have too many good, like, gimmicky moves. Psych Up could be fun. I feel like that could be something that I could use. But yeah, Kamal, I just think it's solid in general. It gives me that Spadef bulk. It gives me a pretty strong attacker as well. I know I've got another normal type, but it's another Ghost immunity, and I won't shy away from Ghost immunities. I already have Mew and Marowak that are weak to Ghost, so it's not a bad idea to get another Ghost immunity at all. And just the hazard removal, so nice. For tier 4, I like it. It's just a solid glue for the rest of my team. So next, I kind of saw this on the board and I was kind of thinking like, nah, I don't want that, do I? Because I thought I'd want a steel type, but at the end of the day, I wanted a rocker. I wanted something that was a bit fast, and I also wanted something that could be a bit of a setup sweeper to free Mew a little bit. So I saw this on the board and I was like, you know, I really haven't used this that much. I've used it in a couple of side leagues. I haven't used it in a serious league where I'm actually trying with it. And also, I think it got an interesting buff in Gen 7 because of the Z crystals. So I was like, let's do it, you know? Let's just do it right now. So I got Cobalion. And Cobalion is actually my second Z crystal user. And Cobalion, the thing about it, you can run like Double Dance or SD sets a lot better with Z moves. So I'm going to take that into account. It gets a pretty nice move pool with like Close Combat, and Iron Head as its dual stabs. And, you know, it gets like Stone Edge. I didn't know it got like Zen Headbutt and X Scissor. Oh, I knew it got X Scissor actually, but I forgot about it. It can be physical or special. I can run like a Calm Mindset as well. It's got really good physical bulk, so it allows me to be a really good pivot. And I like having a good pivot. It's just going to be nice. Helps me against dark types to free up the Mew a little bit and free up the Marowak. Helps me against bug types as well. Steel's just a very solid typing. And Steel Fighting, I mean, it can be good offensively and defensively to an extent. So I figured it'd be good. It's another rocker, so I've got 4 rockers already, which is really nice. And just having a lot of rockers is good. It was something I really wanted to focus on going into this draft. Also gets Volt Switch, which is nice because as a pivot, you know, getting the Volt Switch to get out of there is really good. So Cobalion's just really solid. I'm happy to have it. And the Z Crystal should allow it to have the opportunity to be a setup sweeper. And yeah, I've got like a defensive setup sweeper in Clefable. I've got an offensive setup sweeper in Cobalion at this point already, so that's pretty good. I've got a 4th rocker. It's a quad rock resist, and I was actually weak to rock at this point. I noticed I had 2 rock weaknesses and no resist, so I thought getting Cobalion would be really important for that. I'm still a bit concerned about ground types, though, and this will actually become a bigger concern later on in the draft, and you'll see that. But Cobalion, it's just going to be pretty fun. It's a pretty solid pick. I think I should be able to do some fun stuff with it. Should be able to bring it quite a bit. So next, I kind of saw this on the board, and I was like, you know, Swellow might struggle with some steel types. So, you know, I don't want to pressure Marowak into being my steel takeout. So, like my steel answer. Or Cobalion, I didn't really want to pressure that into being it, because say there's something like Celesteela or Skarmory that I go up against. I'd like to be able to beat that. So I snagged an interesting pick, Magnezone. And I also need an electric type at this point, so that was another reason why I don't really care about the double steel, because steel is just such a good type. I do have the quad weakness to ground, and I was actually going for no quad weaknesses for a while. But then when I saw Magnezone, I was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'll just go with it. So I do have 3 really good abilities, in my opinion. I've got Magnet Pull, Sturdy, and Analytic. So I can run like a Specs Analytic set, and think about how hard that'll hit with a base 130 special attack. And then, you know, what is that? Plus 1.5 and then plus 1.3 on top of that. Because the Specs, it's going to hit so hard. Sturdy, in case I want it, you know, I could just put myself against the ground type more comfortably in that situation. Because, you know, maybe I don't need Magnet Pull or Analytic, but I want to bring Magnezone because it does a lot to the team. I could run a faster set, and I could still run Sturdy, because that would help me not be O-code, and that could be good in certain scenarios where like an HP ground might come out or something like that. Then Magnet Pull, of course, to trap the steel types. Magnezone, it can be pretty bulky on both sides, and it can actually check quite a few things. Like, I saw this and I was like, it's a good answer to psychic types, at least. You know, it's a good answer to fairy types as well. So I thought that would be pretty nice. For tier 2, you know, I'm willing to try it out. It's just something I really want to try. I've seen it there. I'm like, you know, this thing is so good in standard play, but it kind of falls short in league battles. But you know, I actually saw MV use it a little bit in the GBA, and I saw him, you know, find ways to make it successful, and I really want to be creative with it. I want to find ways to, you know, make Magnezone a good Pokemon. You know, it's something I don't really do too much in the Draft League format. I feel like I don't try and branch out enough and try and make things successful that otherwise, you know, haven't been too successful in the past from other people using them. And I've really only done that with actually Swallow back here. So I figured Magnezone would be a good bet. Let's try and, you know, make it not be seen as like this dead weight in tier 2. Let's try to make it, you know, good. Let's try to make it a fun Pokemon. So, at this point, I actually wanted another Hazard Remover. And I saw this on the board. I had enough for another tier 1. I was like, you know, let's snag it right now. I thought this was a really good pick. A lot of people may be like, why? Just due to the composition of my team, but I'll have to explain that a little bit. I got Starmie, and Starmie is excellent. It's another analytic user, so I got 2 analytic users in a row. But Natural Cure is there too, so again, it's another status absorber. I've got a lot of status absorbers in case you haven't noticed, so don't run Toxic Spikes against me. But it's another Hazard Remover. Which is really nice. I'm completely, you know, like, free when it comes to hazards. I can even run Defog on Swallow if I really wanted to. But, you know, I've got, like, things that are immune to status, or immune to hazards in Clefable. And I've got 3 hazard removers up until this point, if you don't count Swallow. I've got 3 solid hazard removers, because Mew with Defog, Kamala with Rapid Spin, Starmie with Rapid Spin. I've got an offensive spinner, I've got a, you know, Defogger that can be offensive or defensive, and I've got a pretty bulky Rapid Spinner in Kamala. But Starmie, it can be bulky, it can be offensive, and it allows me to have that bulky water type. It allows me to have that offensive water type all in one. I was kind of interested by that. A lot of people may be like, why do you have 2 psychic types? Why 2 steel types? I have 2 psychic types. I don't care about repeating types that much. Like, everyone's going to have to do it at some point in their draft. And I've actually used 2 psychic types before. I used Cresselia and Victini on the same team at one point in my UPA Season 5 championship run. And, you know, like, it doesn't matter that much. I brought Cresselia and Victini both I brought both of them most weeks, actually. And it doesn't phase at all. It doesn't phase you at all. You can bring duplicate typings each week. It doesn't matter. I could bring Cobalion and Magnezone if I wanted to. I could bring Starmie and Mew if I wanted to. You know, I'm fine. I could bring Kamala and Swallow if I wanted to. And still be good. And Starmie's just such a good move pool. It can be offensive. It can spin. You know, it gets fun stuff like Reflect type if I really wanted to. It could do a lot of interesting stuff. It Specs, Scarf, Life Orb. I'll have fun with Starmie, you know? And I just thought it was a solid pick. And I want to have fun. I'm prioritizing having fun over everything. That's what I always do. So, that's my priority right there. And let's kick it with Starmie. Let's have some fun. Put in those good sets and have some fun with it. So, next, I noticed I was really weak to ground types because I look at my ground weaknesses. Marowak, Cobalion, Magnezone Quad weak. And what's my ground response? Mew. That's the only thing. And it could still be hurt by some ground types. Like, look at a Crocodile. That thing would destroy it. So, I definitely needed a response to ground types. I saw this. I was looking at them for a long time. I actually looked at ground responses in higher tiers, but I couldn't find them. But then I saw this, and I was like, as long as there's no Mold Breaker Excadrill, we're good. I got Weezing. And Weezing's good. I think Weezing, the thing about it that I like the most is I find it can match up against certain Pokemon in higher tiers. It's got that sky-high defense. It's a very good defensive wall. And, you know, that's about all it can do, really. But I don't mind that at all. I've got the levitate there. I'm checking a lot of ground types. And that's really important to me. That's what I needed at this point. Bulky poison types are nice. You know, it resists things like U-turn as a poison type. It's got one weakness. It's only weak to psychic. And I've got psychic responses all over the place. Mew, Magnezone, Starmie, Alolan Marowak offensively. You know, I'm fine with having the psychic weakness. It doesn't faze me at all. Hidden Power Psychic won't do much to me either. I can burn things. I can Pain Split. I can taunt. I can set up Toxic Spikes if I want to. Weezing has so many options right there. I could be missing stuff. I Clear Smogs. I can Destiny Bond. Explosion. Yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff here that I could do. And I'm feeling like you can pull through and do some good work. I get fire coverage, which allows me to hit the steel types. I really like that offensively. So, like, I don't get walled with just having Sludge Bomb. You know, I can also run Flamethrower to make sure that steel type that comes in to switch in on the Weezing is gone. So, Weezing just has options. It has pretty decent options as a wall. And having a physical wall at this point is not a bad thing at all. Especially one that answers ground types, which I'm really weak to. It's very much just to synergize with the team. That's what the Weezing picks for. It also checks fairy types if I want to. You know? And having fairy responses is not bad, because there's even more fairies than ever right now running around with all the Tapus and stuff like that. And fairies were already popular in the Draft League format, so getting a poison type that's really defensive and can respond to most of them is really nice. So, oh, also offensive grass types. Think about that. Anyway, I needed a bird check. I've got Magnezone. That's not a great bird check. I think it's my only flying resist up until this point. I wanted more. I definitely wanted more. So, I saw this here. I actually wanted Rhyperior originally, but that got sniped, and I wasn't really too fazed by that. The only thing about that is it made sure I didn't get a ground type. It's a bit of a weakness in my team. I thought about taking a Rhydon in a lower tier, just to make sure I could have, like, the ground rock type. But eventually I was just like, you know what? Who cares? I've got electric responses if I need them. I'll be fine. I got Regirock, and this thing is an outstanding bird check. It's simply outstanding. That's the truth. You know, it gets Clear Body and Sturdy, which are both really nice abilities. It's another rocker. How many rockers do I have at this point? I think I have 6. Mew, Clefable, Marowak, Cobalion, Regirock. Mew, Clefable, Marowak, Cobalion, Regirock. Okay, 5. But that's still 5 of my 11 members can set up Stealth Rocks. That gives me so many options. It frees me up so much, which is so nice. So basically, I could just build a team and not have to worry about bringing a rocker just to have a rocker. I could, you know, it's likely that I won't bring my other 6. It's likely that I won't bring Swellow, Kamala, Magnezone, Starmie, Weezing, and other Pokemon that still hasn't been revealed yet. That's not a rocker, spoilers. So that's really nice. I'm so freed when it comes to rocking. It's just a perfect bird check right here. I could find ways to bring Regirock and make it successful. It's so good physically, defensively. I could run Curse Regirock and have fun with that and just set up all over the place. Assault Vest Regirock's actually a pretty good set that I've used in the past. Just allows me to have that special bulk right there, and I'm just bulky all around. It's got a pretty good attack stat. It's not passive at all with the base 100 attack. I like Regirock. It's good. I can paralyze things. I can do a lot. I'm happy about that. I can go boom and have fun. Regirock's fun. I like Regirock. It can match up against certain Pokemon in higher tiers. Like, think about it. What's the top bird right now? The top physical bird right now is Staraptor. Bam, checked. If I have to go against Staraptor. What's the top special bird right now? Probably offensively Torn-T. Run a Rindo Berry and then I check it. Because it can't grass knot me. Bam. See? Exactly. Right there. I've got the response to any bird I want. How about like a Hawlucha? Run Chokebear. because that's something that's, you know, super effective against me. Gyarados, run the, what's the water resist berry? I forget. Pasho berry, that's it. Run the Pasho berry. And just think about all the types. And I'm like, birds, gone. Birds, I don't see you. Birds are gone. I don't like birds. So that's good. I like Regirock. So, last but not least, I saw this on the board a long time ago, and I was like, I want to use this, but nobody's going to pick it. It's a tier 2 nobody picks. And it's powerful. It's got priority. You can put things to sleep. You guys probably already know what it is, so I'm just going to go ahead and click it right now. We got Breloom. And Breloom is sweet. I like Breloom a lot. The thing about Breloom, Spore is so powerful. Spore helps me a lot, just in general, to have that. Having a strong Mach Punch is nice. I can do a lot of things with Breloom. It's got Technician, so what if I want to be cheeky and run, like, Technician, HP Fire... HP Fire wouldn't be one that I'd run. What's an answer to Breloom that's quad effective? It takes something quad effectively. Lando, that's an answer. What if I were in an HP Ice? Just to answer against a defensive Lando. That's for the Breloom. Mind blown. I can set with Sword Stance. Sub-Toxic Orb stats are good. That allows me to be another Status Absorber. Look at that Status Absorption! Nobody's gonna want status against me because I've got the Toxic Orb that I'm running and nobody can run status against me. I'm going a little crazy right now. I'm having fun though. I just want to have fun while we're recording, guys. I hope you guys don't hate it. But yeah, having Spore is a big deal. Having an offensive fighting type that doesn't allow me to be pressured with Cobalion. I know it's quad weak to flying, but look, I've got Regirock. I don't care. Having a grass type, just in general, is nice. Spore is so powerful though. Having the Spore. I like the Spore. I think it's the fastest Spore in the game. You know, I can run Sash, I can run Life, or Breloom's gonna be fun. I'll find ways to make Breloom work. It's like the Magnezone thing. Let's find ways to make this Pokemon that a lot of people think is a piece of shit, or just like, it's okay. Ask anyone, yeah, no, seriously, go ask anyone what they think of Magnezone or Breloom, and they'll be like, I mean, it's okay, but like, it's not for me. Like, oh my god, it's just not that good. I can't find any time where I want to bring it. Well, I'm gonna make myself bring it. I'm gonna make myself bring shit like Breloom and Magnezone that people are too afraid to bring because it doesn't match up well enough, or you know, shit like that. That's something that I looked at in this draft. I was like, let's stretch some boundaries. Let's have some fun. So, as for the team as a whole, I like the team. I think it's just going to be a fun team that I'm going to be able to use. One thing I'm stressing about a little bit, I don't have a ground type, but at least I've got the electric immunity and a Alolan Marowak. That's the important thing about getting a ground type. I've got an electric immunity at the end of the day, so I'm fine with that. The ground types are just nice and powerful. It's because a lot of the powerful ground types I wanted went early. Nothing I can do about that. Okay, so, you know, people like ground types. People want to go get the ground types. Okay, I'm fine with that. Got stuff that I'm really looking forward to using. I'm looking forward to using actually everything here. I think it's all going to be fun to use. Only one Pokemon that I've actually, like, used seriously in the past, too. The only Pokemon I've used seriously in the past is Swellow. And, you know, Swellow got a huge buff this generation, so it's going to be completely different. And I've seen more ways to use Swellow ever since then. Just, you know, through looking around, because I love it. It's my second favorite Pokemon next to Arcanine, so that's one of the Pokemon I'm happiest about. And a lot of people are probably like, you're crazy for picking a tier 5 in, you know, round 3. A lot of people that I was drafting with thought I was crazy. I don't think I am. I got a steal. Straight up. That's better than Kamala. It's better than Regirock. And everyone knows it. It's not supposed to be tier 4. It's not. It's just not. No. It's not. But yeah, it's just like, I feel like I look more, I did everything well in this draft. Like, I look at my speed tiers, I'm like, okay, Swellow is my fastest Pokemon. I need to get something in the next speed tier. I got Starmie there. Then I need something in the next one. I got Cobalion. I need something in the next tier. I got Mew. Then it gets a little patchy, but, you know, and then I got Breloom. Then I got, so, like, you know, base 85s to base 95s are going to be a bit of a problem for me. But I've got transactions. And that's one thing that's always really nice. Transactions are a saint. And also another thing, I did something I really wanted to do, and I found I've struggled with lately just in building in general with all my teams. Whether it was in the GPC or the UPA, I found I wasn't being able to have good defensive responses to everything, so I was having to run a lot more offense. And I like running defensive responses to the threats to make sure I'm going to be comfortable going into the battle and not know I have to play a certain way and just, you know, have that comfort zone that I want to be in. So having stuff there that can be defensive, you know, a lot of it too. I think I've got a lot of Pokemon that can be solid defensively. What are the only Pokemon that can't be defensive? That's right, there's two. Breloom and Swellow are the only Pokemon on my team that I don't think can be defensive at all. And Breloom technically could if I found a situation, actually. Physically defensive Breloom. I've seen it before. But Swellow, no way. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I think I got good answers to anything I need to be going against. So, let's have some fun with the Wi-Fi League. I'm excited to have this because it's going to be a better way to create content. And that's one thing I know of for sure. I'm going to be able to create content with a cleaner looking game. And that's it. I'm excited for the IPBL. There's a lot of great people in it. I've loved talking to a lot of guys in there. You know, whether it's Mentz, who I knew previously, whether it's Isolate, Fitzblitz, Brendan, who else is there? There's Darude. There's a lot of good guys in there that I've gotten to know recently, and I'm getting a good vibe from it. I'm ready. I want to show who I am in the IPBL, and I want to win. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys don't get a team builder for week 1, which should be like, you know, this Saturday when I upload the team builder, hopefully, then you're just going to get the battle and maybe a team preview right before the battle. Just me, like, discussing the team. But, you know, maybe I might do something where I do live team builders. That might be something I start doing in the IPBL to be unique, to have some fun with it. So, thanks for watching, guys. Please make sure to go check out some IPBL coaches. Hopefully, I'll leave their links in the description below. Everyone's going to be uploading. Everyone will have a draft analysis. Everyone will have battles each week. And please make sure to subscribe to me as well if you don't know who I am. I'm LittleBigness, and I'm a Pokemon player. Check out all the links below, though. Seriously, it would mean a lot to me. I'll see you guys later, hopefully. Peace.